بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد
وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue our study of second hadith of 40 hadith, which was about riya, and we are actually discussing the last chapter of this part. It's about a hadith from Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam that Sheikh Saduq also has mentioned a similar hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam as a wasiyya, as a kind of advice from Rasulullah for Amirul Mu'minin. So the text of the hadith is as follows. قال أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام ثلاث علامات للمرائي. There are three signs for those who show off. ينشق إذا رأى الناس. When he or she sees people, is seeing people, becomes very joyful and excited. وَيَكْسَلُ إِذَا كَانَ وَحْدَهُ. But if he or she is alone, would be without excitement and joy, would lose his or her passion and interest. وَيُحِبُّ أَنْ يُحْمَدَ فِي جَمِيعِ أُمُورِهِ. Also he or she likes to be praised in all their affairs. So for them, being watched by people and praised by people are two main reasons for doing things and getting energy and excitement and interest in doing things. Then Imam Khomeini elaborates on this hadith by giving examples. But before mentioning examples, he says, because riya is a very delicate issue and can be easily hidden, this is why we are given signs. Because when something is obvious and manifest, then maybe you notice itself at the same time that you notice the signs. Then the signs are not that much needed. But if the thing is hidden, or for you it is hidden, then you rely on signs. So riya is such a delicate issue that can be so easily missed and not noticed. We need signs, and these are some signs. For example, when someone is at home saying his prayer or reciting Quran or doing dua, is not that much passionate, is not that much interested, makes it very short and do it very quickly and not with good feeling. But if, for example, he or she is in the mosque, in congregation, he would be very interested. In the night of Qadr, for example, Imam Khomeini says, if he or she is in the masjid, does 100 rak'ah, du'a joshan, all the a'mal, and doesn't feel any tiredness or pain, but if it's at home, quickly feels tired. This can be a sign. Of course, I have to say that this is different from a person who is sincere, but when he is in the congregation and there is positive energy coming from mu'mineen, he gets more energized and more empowered. That's not riya. We are talking about people that have no interest, but just in the public, when they see people watch them. Maybe if they go to a mosque that no one knows them, they don't have the same feeling. But if they go to the mosque that people know them, they have very good feeling. But sometimes even people deceive themselves by saying the reason we are happier when we are seen and watched or we are in public is because we want to encourage others by our own example. So we can hide riya even from ourselves and sometimes try to rationalize it, of course mistakenly. Then he makes a point and he says, since people are in different levels, it is possible that something which is acceptable, it's somehow forgiven or acceptable for someone in a lower level, might not be acceptable if it is done by someone in the higher level. So we should not think expectations from all people are the same. For example, when it comes to riya, to sincerity, which is opposite to riya, it can be the same. People, depending on their ranks, may be expected to act differently. For example, the hadith from Imam Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam that we had before is to be compared with another hadith from Imam Baqir alayhi salam. And inshallah we will explain the relation between these two hadith. Imam Baqir alayhi salam, according to what Kulayni rahmatullah alayh has narrated, is said that in response to a question about a person that when he does something good and people see him, he becomes happy. سألته عن الرجل يعمل الشيء من الخير فيراه إنسان فيسره ذلك. I asked Imam Baqir alayhi salam about a person that does something good and then someone else watches him and this makes him happy. قال لا بأس. Imam alayhi salam said, no problem. ما من أحد إلا وهو يحب أن يظهر له في الناس الخير. There is no one among people unless he likes people know good things about him or his good things to be known by people. إذا لم يكن صنع ذلك لذلك. But the condition is that he should not have done that good action so that people know about him. So if you do something positive and when people come to know about it, you become happy, this by itself is not a bad thing. It can be okay. The bad thing is that you make that positive thing, that good thing, in order to bring the attention of people or praise of people to yourself. So Imam Khomeini says, maybe you think there is a contradiction between this hadith and the previous one, that Mura'i has more passion and more energy when he is seen. But he says there is no contradiction. This is possibly referring to ranks of people. For ordinary people, not only ordinary, just people, I mean ordinary believers, it's fine if they become happier when people know about their good things. For awliyaullah, those who are at very high level, maybe for them this should not happen. It shouldn't make any difference. We have in some hadiths that, for example, if a camel is seeing you or a human being should not make a difference. But this is for awliyaullah. For normal mu'mineen, even good mu'mineen, still it's okay. But the main thing is that he or she should not have done this for the sake of people praising him. That's the problem. That is not acceptable from anyone. But if someone does something sincerely, but it happens that people know about it and he becomes then happier, that's fine. Then there is a very small and short appendix, and that is about sum'ah. Riya is a matter of doing something to show people, to show off. Sum'ah comes from sami'ah, means to hear. So it means to do something that people hear about you. So either you make people watch you or you make people hear about you, positive things. So they are similar, and they are all going back to the same tree of lack of sincerity. So we don't need to discuss separately. Alhamdulillah, we finished second hadith. Now we move on to the third hadith. بالسند المتصل إلى محمد بن يعقوب. So we go back to our chain of narration to Sheikh Kulaini عن علي بن إبراهيم عن أبيه عن علي بن إسباط or أسباط عن أحمد بن عمر الحلال عن علي بن سويد عن أبي الحسن عليه السلام. So Sheikh Kulaini, through his chain of narrators, narrates an Abil Hasan alayhi salam from Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salam. قال سألته عن العجب الذي يفسد العمل. I asked him about ujb, that makes the action corrupt. Ujb, inshallah, we will talk about it. This hadith is about ujb, and we will have a discussion about ujb. Means a kind of self-admiration. You admire yourself. You are pleased with yourself. Of course, in a negative sense, as we will explain. So I asked Imam alayhi salam, Imam Qadim alayhi salam, about self-admiration that corrupts the action. فقال العجب درجات. Ujb has different ranks. منها أن يزين للعبد سوء عمله فيراه حسنا. One of the ranks of ujb is that for a servant of God, his bad action is decorated and he sees that as a good one. So he has a bad action, like a sin or bad habit, but unfortunately he is so much happy with himself, so much pleased with himself, that he would see it as a good action, as a beautiful action. فَيُعْجِبُهُ. This bad action pleases him. وَيَحْسَبُ أَنَّهُ يُحْسِنُ صُنْعًا. And he thinks that he is doing good action. وَمِنْهَا أَنْ يُؤْمِنَ الْعَبْدُ بِرَبِّهِ. Another level of ujb is that someone believes in his Lord. So he's a believer, but unfortunately, فَيَمُنُّ عَلَى اللَّهِ تَعَالَى, but he thinks that he has a favor upon Allah. He thinks he can oblige Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we have in the Quran, some people used to go to the Prophet, يَمُنُّونَ عَلَيْكَ أَنْ أَسْلَمْ. They used to say to Prophet, we have done a favor to you, that we have embraced Islam. But as we know, if someone is really a believer, he should be grateful to Allah, and Allah has had favor upon him. بَلِ اللَّهُ يَمُنُّ عَلَيْكُمْ. So some people, they have faith, but فَيَمُنَّ عَلَى اللَّهِ تَعَالَى وَلِلَّهِ عَلَيْهِ فِيهِ الْمَنْ, while Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has had favor upon them and has obliged them. So based on this hadith, now we have a very detailed discussion about ujb. First, what is the definition of ujb? Imam Khomeini says, according to our ulama, Ridwanullah alayhim, may Allah's pleasure be with them, ujb is considering your righteous deeds to be abundant, to be a lot, to be great. So it is your salat, it is your fasting, it is your ziyarah, your hajj, your charity, your teaching, anything that you do which is good. You are so much happy with yourself and with your performance that you think in a very exaggerated way about your good actions, and you become too happy with your performance. While if someone is happy with humility and gratitude, that's different. If you are happy with your performance, but you feel very humble and grateful to Allah that has given you this tawfiq, that's different. But if you have done something and you think you have done great thing, no one has done like this, or rarely people do this, you become arrogant and proud. That is ujb. He says, the late Allama Majlisi has mentioned something from Sheikh Bahai Ridwanullah ta'ala alayh, which is interesting. So this is the quotation of Imam Khomeini from Allama Majlisi, and Allama Majlisi from Sheikh Bahai rahmatullah alayh. Sheikh Bahai said, there is no doubt that whoever does something good, does a'mal salih, like fasting, like tahajjud, becomes happy. Doing good actions make you happy. But this happiness, if it is because Allah has given you a blessing, as given tawfiq, and at the same time you are worried that you may lose tawfiq to continue, or you may do something to corrupt your action, then this is a healthy approach. So you are happy, but at the same time you think this is a blessing from Allah that you may lose if you are not careful. This is good. This is not ujb, this is not self-admiration. But if you are happy because you look at this as your own action, as your own achievement, and you exaggerate about your action, and you think that there is no way that you are going to lose it, there is no way that you may have some shortcomings, to the extent that you may think you have done a favor to Allah and Allah owes to you, then this is ujb. End of the quotation from Sheikh Bahai. So Imam Khomeini says the way our ulama have interpreted ujb is correct, but we need just to remember that ujb can be with positive things and negative things. Sometimes people are happy because of their good deeds, and sometimes people are happy because of their bad deeds, unfortunately. This, as we had in the Hadith, يُزَيَّن لِلْعَبْدِ سُوءُ عَمَلِهِ. Even sometimes people do bad things. They do bad, for example, preaching, bad teaching, bad way of treating their family, their parents, their children, their neighbors, and they are proud of that. So we have to remember, ujb is not only with really good things. Ujb can happen with really bad things, but the people who do it think they are doing good, something good. This is very sad, that you do something bad and then you are also too much happy about your bad deeds. Quran says, tell them, shall I inform you about the people who are in the greatest loss? قُلْ هَلْ أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. The people who are in the greatest loss. الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. Those whose efforts in dunya have been misguided. They have lost the correct orientation and direction. But وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. They think they are doing something good. So Imam Khomeini says ujb can be for doing something good, or even for doing something which is really bad, but the person thinks it is a good thing. Plus, ujb can be with respect to actions, with respect to qualities, or with respect to aqa'id. And for all the three, again, good and bad. Good actions, bad actions. Good qualities, bad qualities. Good beliefs or bad beliefs. Maybe someone is ujb because of tawheed, someone is ujb because of has ujb because of shirk. Someone has ujb because of generosity, and someone is very miserly and has ujb. So basically, ujb is a negative quality that you are too much impressed with your actions or qualities or beliefs, whether they are really good or they are really bad. The thing is that you are too much happy with yourself and proud of yourself. Okay, we alhamdulillah finished this chapter. The next is about levels of ujb, and inshallah we can discuss this in the next session, which inshallah will be during the retreat inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.